Today we're reacting to Antifa attack causes Isabel Brown and conservative students to barricade in classroom. I'm Nina.
I'm Panic Button. Jesse, Panic Button.
Is that your first or your last name?
This footage is wild. Isabel Brown and Kristen Hawkins were invited to speak at VCU. The students lose their minds. Multiple assaults occur. The conservative students and organizers are forced into a back room to barricade. One of the students who organized this thing, she's sitting there injured. What are we doing?
The vast majority of the school hates. They just want you.
We don't want you here.
We were there. We were invited there by our Students for Life chapter at VCU. The students have had trouble with Antifa disrupting their events in the past.
Right now it looks civil. This is not going to last. It slowly begins to escalate until the first person gets arrested.
Go home! Nazis go home! Nazis go home!
We're not even going to be able to
Nazis go home!
Where's the campus security?
Nazis go home!
They're not coming.
Nazis go home!
They can't disrupt this.
Nazis go home!
I bet you he identifies as a woman. Look at that hair.
I'm telling you, there are a lot of men saying they're women in this audience.
I'm not even trying to be rude. And
Why are they so aggressive?
But they are. They're trying to be rude. There's such a thing as peaceful protest and non-peaceful protest. Just show up with your sign standing in the back of the room.
Oh, God.
And maybe lightly, we don't want you here. You don't even go here. You know, like little tiny comments. That's lightly protesting. That is what you're allowed to do. To go in someone's face and scream and throw physical attacks is not peaceful protesting.
These dudes are like, oh, look at me. I'm a woman. I got my hair in a ponytail, and I got tiny itty bitty titties. Now go home. Like, you ain't proven to anybody you're a lady, sir. You're just an aggressive man pretending.
Well, even at that,
With mental issues.
If you know that what you're fighting for is actually reasonable and just, you don't have to scream. You can just make your points. You can have a constructive disagreement.
You have this fat man who has mental illness screaming in the face of a woman, while it's the same people who are like, women have the right to bodily autonomy and yada, yada, yada. We're pro-women, but not if those women don't agree with us. Then we get to beat them up and barricade them in a room. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Just proves to us even more that y'all are completely Looney Tunes.
Nazis go home!
Stop.
Their personal security, they finally have had enough and step in.
Yeah, you get up.
Fucking tanks! Fucking tanks!
So we're at VCU.
Wow, look at all those
trying to crash our event.
This would be the first incident, but then things start to
another
get
one.
more heated from here.
I was in a shooting 5 years ago at Myrtle Beach.
Yeah.
And even though it was a false call, had it been real, some of us would have died. So if you're gonna say y'all are pro-life,
This is that classic strategy. How can you call yourself pro-life if you don't want to ban guns? The problem is when she tries to respond, watch what happens. They don't want to have a conversation.
No, they don't.
That's why the pro-life movement has started and sustained. You won't even let me answer her question. Would you like me to answer the question?
They're not really interested in anything she has to say or any response she can offer.
They even admit it. They're not even trying. No, go home. That's all they want.
They
That's all
should just say, no, we're retarded. We don't understand words that come from people that we don't agree with. Blah, 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 blah.
Honestly-
We're aggressive and angry.
Honestly, good on these women for staying there and continuing to try and have a productive conversation to make their point.
Like, I'm not pro-life. You know, I guess I'm pro-choice, right? Well, but I'm not going to waste my evening when I have better things to do yelling at people who I don't agree
If you
with.
even look behind them, it says lies pro-choicers believe. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with their opinions or their beliefs. I think that their religious beliefs are why they're so anti-abortion, and that's okay for you to be anti-abortion. However, I think it's a really necessary thing for a lot of people. I've said this before, and this is my true stance. There's a lot of women who will not be good mothers. And if at any point during their pregnancy, a woman adamantly does not want that baby, we should maybe get rid of the baby. Now, if the pregnancy is viable and you want to go and adopt the baby out, that's also okay with me, but maybe we shouldn't force people to be mothers. That's my opinion. I don't think it's okay to say, hey, I need an abortion. I don't think it's a good thing, but I also don't think a lot of women think it's inherently good. I think it's a service that we might need, and I agree with people who say if men needed abortions, there'd be a clinic on every side of the street. So that's my take.
The smartest thing to do if you don't agree with these ladies is you go in, you listen, and you hear their points of view, ask them questions about their points of view, maybe even like write down what their arguments are, and then go back and
Find the strongest argument against it.
Right, exactly. I think that would be the most intelligent. I mean, that's using your brain.
Right.
Not using your mental illness as aggression.
Well, even at that, if I saw these women, I wouldn't be mad because they don't want to let women have abortions. I wouldn't be mad. If they wanted to have a conversation on why I didn't agree with them, I'd have the conversation. And if I got frustrated, I'd just be like, okay, we don't agree. Sorry.
Yeah, but why are you going to get mad? Like, what type of people just automatically use aggression and screaming?
Angry ones, I guess.
But why are they so angry? They can't even have babies. Half of these men saying
maybe that's why they're so angry.
Because they can't have babies?
Well, a lot of people today choose not to have babies, I think. But also, these guys are probably a lot of like incels in this group just to try and.
I think it's just an excuse for these guys who say they're chicks to be aggressive towards women and get away with it.
I also think that a lot of men, and I don't think this is inherently bad. I think a lot of men get angry about someone saying they do or don't have a say in it too. Mm-hmm. Men get angry because some of them want children and some of them don't want children. So some of these guys are getting angry because they want to just put it in wherever and let her get an abortion. Like, you know. But other guys are angry on the opposite end because they don't want a baby they might want removed from the planet because they would take it. But the thing is that for 9 months, your body doesn't become a cell for that child to stay in. And so you have to really trust that that woman that you're going to try and take that baby from is going to take care of herself for 9 months. It's all just messed up.
Yeah.
It's all just, everyone's mad because they all want children or don't want children. And so I do think this should be a choice thing to a certain degree. But I mean, what's your take?
My take is I think this is just an excuse for these deranged men who say they're women to be violent, scream at women and be able to get away with it because they're on a college campus and because they say they're women. It makes them inclusive to scream at women.
Technically, it'd be misogynistic to not scream at them because they're women.
Yeah. Well, they're used to this, I'm sure, these women.
And this is the student that later gets injured.
I'm sorry. You're saying I can't what we're doing is indoctrination, and what you're doing is not indoctrination.
It is deeply ironic that they're accusing Isabel Brown of indoctrinating these students when this is the result of indoctrination. Like this guy, for example, clearly is not a student. I certainly hope he's not faculty.
I bet he
We
is.
later find out people from outside came into the college just to protest this.
That makes sense.
So they start to realize that we've got to do something. Where are the police?
Why are they letting this happen? This violates school rules.
You can clearly hear her say, why is the college allowing this to happen?
Excuse me, I thought VCU rules were that you can't disrupt, like, a peaceful gathering.
Apparently there are police right outside in the hallway just not
Surprise,
doing
surprise.
anything.
Like, why isn't anyone stopping? There's students here that have gathered to hear me speak, and no one's doing anything.
I don't know what they are. They've got VCU on their shirts. They must be campus police, though. I don't know why they're not doing anything.
Are you going to remove them? Because they won't be offered to
So, wait, so you're telling me that the people who are screaming fascist
Go home, Nazi. That was another thing.
are the one who are suppressing people from speaking their opinion?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
They don't want people suppressing their right to speak their opinion, but they get to suppress other people's rights?
in their heads, that's okay because theirs is the right way.
Well,
the
they
other people
need
are
to
doing the
be
wrong
locked up.
thing. Isn't
They
it so
need to be-
weird how if you think like a kindergartner, everything becomes so much harder?
They have the mental capacity
I'm a
of...
kindergartner. I want cookies, so I stole it. That's okay.
Yeah, that's giving them too much credit. I'd say more like 2. You know, because like when a 2-year-old doesn't get their way, they go, ah, you know, and they scream.
Yeah.
Because they can't use their words because they can't think.
Do you think
'cause they're 2.
kindergartners have a better mindset than that? Is what you're getting at?
Truly, I do believe that, yes.
Spend their speech to just answer the questions. If they got in line.
This guy does not want to be on camera, doesn't want anything to do with this.
So they're not doing anything.
They don't cut. They're right outside the room. You can see it on camera.
Speaker, and I am here with students who like to answer your questions from a Gen Z perspective on how we can embrace a more loving approach to women and children.
There are Antifa flags here.
This is Antifa cheering. We knew they were Antifa because they're all wearing masks. They have to cover up their identity.
And eventually the police do step in, but it doesn't go the way you would think.
Are they police?
The campus police have now decided to come out of nowhere. They decided not to come initially, and we will see how this goes.
And then all hell just breaks loose, it seems. And this is when things just absolutely get out of hand.
And miscarriage. Okay.
Wow, it's like a rabid pack of dogs.
A fight breaks out. Private security steps in. Now we can see the police on scene. This video is sponsored by Rumble Wallet. How much control do you actually have over your...
No, I got it.
No, I'm not leaving your campus until you let me peacefully speak.
Kristen and Isabel make a decision that they're not going to be kowtowed. They're not going to concede and be forced out. They decide to remain.
30 minutes into our gathering, several students in the room were attacked by these Antifa and far-left extremist protesters.
I believe that's the scuffle that female organizer got injured in, as you'll see later.
The school, despite my bodyguards calling and asking for support, didn't intervene until more than 30 minutes into the situation.
At this point, they forced the conservative students to retreat into a back room.
Are we going to be allowed to even come back in?
Okay, we want to have a real conversation. We would prefer not to leave.
All right, they're kicking us out. They're saying maybe we'll be allowed back in.
Someone find me one attractive person in that room.
I mean,
with the exception of the one blonde speaker, I think there was a couple of them. But I mean, on the opposing side, I'm willing to bet they're all chuds.
I'm also just saying there's not a lot of pro-lifers that are also attractive. I think that there's just a lot of people who like die on their high horses.
Do you think conservatives or people who are more like middle or right are more attractive than people who are on the far
I think
left?
because there's so many extreme people on the left when it comes to the gender ideology, you get the weird blue-haired, like spiky collared, like scary to look at people.
Very scary.
So because of that, I will slightly give it to conservatives, but generally speaking, I'm not like, oh, I'm more attracted to one or the other. It's when you do weird stuff with yourself, I'm less attracted to you.
I was just saying objectively.
Well, I think
you
I
got
gave an
the
answer.
all bodies are beautiful crowd on the left, and then
But they don't date the fat ones.
and then more on the right leaning, I'll say, people are more apt to want to take care of themselves and their bodies.
Well, even at that, I see more rednecks with a fat girl than I see conservatives who are like, liberals who are like, all bodies are beautiful with big back Bertha, you know?
Big back Bertha.
Sorry.
I'm not leaving!
They were not allowed back in. They were forced to stay in that room for hours until this thing got cleared.
But instead of escorting these violent protesters out of the room, they forced Kristen and I to essentially be detained in a locked room for our own safety for several hours alongside a small number of students who did come to peacefully learn from the event.
They're temporarily removing us from the room.
Where are you taking me? What happened to you?
Instead of kicking out the protesters.
You got in the mix of that? Are you all right?
They walk into this back room. One of the students who organized this thing, she's sitting there injured. What are we doing?
A big fight broke out, and people were shoving me everywhere. I got shoved. A police officer picked up someone who was fighting and shoved him into the table, and I got thrown into the table during the process.
Do you think all of those people in there are really students, or do you think that this is also the community trying to infiltrate and prevent real dialogue from happening?
I highly doubt they were all students.
No,
they continued to stream this entire thing, so it's all on camera if you want to watch it.
Yeah, you should not ever let your child go to VCU. This is a massive waste of taxpayer money.
The police actually cleared out the room we were supposed to speak after a second assault happened tonight. There are police charges being filed against Antifa members as we speak.
This is just one of those campuses, like the majority of campuses are just extremely left-leaning.
This is one of the most liberal campuses I've been to. It's an inner city campus, very democratic, lifestyle in this area with the students. And there's a lot of hate for life. I've seen, pro-life people stand outside their student commons and, try to talk to students walking by. And it's been a lot of negative interactions that I've witnessed happen. They get a lot of people screaming at them, yelling at them, trying to get them to leave places where they have a right to be and a right to speak.
They policed themselves to not call me fat because they knew that was wrong. But to call me a Nazi to my face and tell me to get the hell off their campus was okay. There's a lot to unpack. I'm going to be thinking of things all night, of things that were yelled at us, but yeah.
Regardless of how you feel about how bad it is to call someone fat, it's the logical hypocrisy that is shocking, and you can see it looking back at the footage.
Are there any other questions? What?
I weigh 248 pounds. What does that have to do with something fat? Are you judging me because of the size of my body, sir? Yes, you did. Yes, that's what you just did. You're fat phobic? Yeah.
Thank you guys for being
You're
here.
fat
We
phobic.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
You shut up, you're transphobic. Oh,
You saw it, right?
Oh, who was the
dress and
fat-phobic one? This was the fat-phobic one. The deranged man in a dress being violent and vile towards a woman, calling her fat, when I'm sure when he's not jerking off to lolly porn, he is criticizing people online for being fat-phobic. They're anti-fascists while acting fascists. I mean, how can anyone actually take them seriously? Their group is only for one thing, and it's to be violent and disgusting towards people they don't agree with. Weird, predatory. I mean, you could look at any of their hard drives and you'll find shit that'll land them in prison immediately.
I'm sure of it.
Their entire existence
this
should be enough to put them in a fucking psych ward.
This should have put at least one person in handcuffs, and I don't think that they ended up in it. It didn't seem like.
No, but eventually one day they will go to prison. I mean, it's only a matter of time. If you allow someone with the mentality of a 2-year-old to constantly get away with illegal activities, well, eventually you're going to land in a position where you're going to be in prison. I'm just hoping it's not a female one. I wonder why people are less accepting of men who say they're women more ever now than
I'd rather be with a fat person than a trans person. At least they usually have like a jolly attitude.
At least they like for the most part, I would say that most people who are overweight understand gravity and understand that they are overweight. They're not saying all bodies are beautiful and men can be women and all this stuff,
No, a lot of people who are fat don't even try to make that claim. They're just like, I wish I wasn't, but it's hard for me to make those decisions in life every single day.
Yeah. What this is it's a crowd of guys, for the most part, who are constantly on Reddit in their little subhuman subgroups.
Subreddit groups, yeah.
Chatting about anime and terrorist activities, as well as I'm sure that they're like jerking off like 20 hours a day to like anime porn or something,
Yeah. Well, I'm glad no one got like seriously injured. At least didn't seem like anyone got seriously injured
for now. But if people,
that's the thing.
The justice system keeps allowing them to get away with it. Eventually, it will get worse and worse. Yeah.
Well, we all know what happened with Charlie Kirk. It's totally possible that someone can get hurt, and with all the assassination attempts also on the president, it's only like, especially as only women up there.
Yeah, I mean,
scary,
it
is
just
it
really
not?
proves the point that the left is absolutely insane. And I have to say, everyone on the left, aside from the ones who are speaking out, but for the most part, people on the left don't condemn all these nut jobs. And so they are equally to blame as these nut jobs. So
it's pretty fucked up. Have a
it
good one.
Have a good one. Bye.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Hype it if you could.
Hype it. Yeah, if you're on your phone, you can. If you're on the computer, I don't think you can. Bye. I love